Welcome to episode 33, already 33 episodes into our Pro Cycling Manager career here with KoRail. Still trying to get them to the Tour de France, and we are flying through the season. We've had a pretty good previous episode after a disappointing 31st episode, and that shows in the team ranking. I thought I would add that here as well to the episode so we can see where the team lies at the moment. We are currently in 16th here with 3,500 UCI points, so we're doing very strong here in the ranking, as you can see, among those World Tour teams. And obviously we want to keep that performance going in this episode, starting off with the Circuit de Wallonia, a very flat stage here with a bunch of mountains toward the ends, or hills towards the ends. I don't know why it's classified as flat, it should be hilly, but this should be one for Noah Isidore or Christophe Krol. Christophe Krol and Noah Isidore, both riders who have been in form lately, hoping for them to do a good result here in this hilly stage. Next up, we have the Tour of Estonia, 3 very flat stages, which should give a good result here for Severi Savakovsky, our Finnish sprinter who we are bringing along. But that first stage is a time trial, which should fit Paul Fietske much more, hoping for a good general classification for him or a good first result for him, and so we can position him for 2 additional good stages. If we cannot, then at least we have Severi Savakovsky to finish it off. Next up, we have the Tour of Slovenia. Very hilly race here with 5 stages. That 4th stage with those mountains will be where it will be difficult, but the previous stages will also have plenty of hills, so 1 for the punchers, 1 for Noah Isidore and Paul Fietske, hoping for a good result with them. And if not, then maybe Owen Cole can finish it off in the mountain stage. We will have to see if we can set a good result there. And last but certainly not least, it is the Tour de Gyeongnam, our Korean home race here for the team. It is a 2.2 race, but I still wanted to ride it here for the team. I won't increase the stats for this, except for the point stats, of course. And we want to win this tour, hopefully with one of our Korean riders. We want to get some good results here with the Koreans, and if not, then we still have Matthijs van Strijten and Baptiste Gregoire to perform. Well, we'll have to see here with the team how they will do. Now let's head quickly to Belgium, to the Circuit de Wallonia. We're not part of the favorites here, but obviously we're hoping for an upset with our riders. Obviously Noah Isidore, the puncher of the team, the rider who's been scoring victory after victory, hoping for him to score another one here in this Belgium race.
Today's terrain is fairly level, so it's ideal ground for those who are good on the flat.
No, we are definitely good on the flat. Look at those riders of ours, except for Noah Isidore. Everyone else has pretty good statistics today, and Noah Isidore is the rider that I was betting on for this race, so that's kind of rough that he's the one with minus statistics, but he has proven to be successful earlier in the previous races and episodes with minus statistics, so we're hoping on that once again today. We'll defend Christophe Krol and Adrien Vial in the peloton today, as they have pretty okay stats in general. Adrien Vial also with a +2, look at that, great statistics for him. Hoping for them to deliver a good sprint at the final if they can survive those hills towards that finish line. That will be the difficult part for these riders today, as we slowly but surely move forward in this very, very hilly stage here. You see some red areas there as well for the mountains. Those will be extra difficult here for the sprinters. As we get towards 10 kilometers of the finish line, you see the back of the peloton is struggling. It broke a little bit there in the peloton, but we still have one little hill left, or we're basically at the end of the last little hill, where we want to push and be ahead of the peloton in this downhill section that is coming up, so we can enter the sprint, the basically uphill sprint here at the end of this race as first. We want to be positioned properly. We don't want to lose too much energy, making sure that we are up front here in this race. As you can see, Asian Verity up front here now in this race, trying to get as much energy and as much push out of him as possible. Other teams coming to the foreground now. I misclick here with Adrien Vial, making sure that he needs to spend a lot more energy in this uphill section, while he should be using that on leading out Joseph Turnbull and the other riders. We still have 2 kilometers to go, and we still have 3 riders remaining even. So we are looking very, very strong here in this race, doing a pretty early sprint here with our riders. We are heading uphill, and look how strong we are here in this race. 3 riders here up front, but the team of Jumbo-Visma making sure that they are seen as well. A great sprint here by their riders. The German rider just passes our riders at the end of this race, and we get a 2nd and 3rd place at the first stage of this episode. A pretty good result here for this race. No Isidore, which I was hoping for to do a little bit better here, but the minus results not showing, or showing that he did not do a good job at the sprint. Christoph Kroll survived towards the end and was able to sprint towards the second place. Great job here by our team. Joseph Turnbull also ending up in 5th. We were looking incredibly strong by the end of this stage in that final sprint, but those two Visma risers here just a bit too strong here for us, and we were unable to catch up with them in this race. So yeah, 2nd, 3rd, and 5th place here for the team. Should be plenty of UCI points in this very difficult 1.1 race. The remainder of our team ending up a little bit later across the line, which is totally fine. They did the lead out here for this race for the team. Make sure that we were in a perfect position here at the final sprint to make sure that we were able to sprint towards a pretty successful race. Now onto the Tour of Estonia, starting off here with this very flat, very short time trial, which should be in our favor. You saw there Paul Fietske also being 2nd in the favorites list, so I'm hoping for him to get a good result here in this race. And then after this we have 2 more flat sprint stages where I'm hoping to perform here with our sprinters. So let's go through this little time trial here with our riders. As you can see here, less than 4 kilometers in this stage. A little bit of a hill section here at the 2.5 kilometers mark. It is a bit of a weird one. I should push here much harder with Paul Fietske, because at the end it goes down quite a bit here, meaning that we should or won't use too much energy in that downhill section. As you can see here, a smidge of energy left here with Paul Fietske. I bursted all the way towards the end, and he gets into a 2nd place as the same time as the number 1 at this moment, so not great for the team. In the end, we end up in 7th, 4 seconds behind the number 1. I would have preferred him to do a little bit better here in this time trial, but 4 seconds are definitely a gap to breach here, so it shouldn't be too difficult here for us. Severy Savkovsky also only 8 seconds behind the number 1. Owen Cole also doing very well here in this race. The differences in this stage, not very much. A lot of riders actually did their time trial quite well, so I think we did a pretty great job here with the team in a pretty strong position here. 3 riders in that top 20 position, 10 seconds at most off the number 1 here, with 3 of our riders, 2 stages here remaining, meaning that if we can win both of these stages, we'll very easily move into 1st place and hopefully are able to keep that 1st place as well. On to the 2nd stage, 2 intermediate sprint points here in this stage. There should be some bonus seconds there, and obviously the bonus seconds on the line, so those should prove worthwhile for the general classification.
Expect a fast pace from the peloton.
A fast pace is predicted here in today's race. I definitely think that will happen here as well. Again, very flat race here, so we should be able to push our riders all the way towards the limit, towards the end. We want to try and be in that breakaway, so you see me here sending out the Italian rider of the team, who is a couple of seconds behind, 27 seconds behind than the number 1. So any bonus seconds that he can get would move him up here in the peloton. But the breakaway is just a little bit too far out. He was a little bit too late with joining that, so he will be in what they call the chasse patate, making sure that he won't be able to breach it over towards that breakaway. And that means that we will defend our riders in the peloton instead. Severy Savkovsky, our Finnish sprinter, who is only 8 seconds behind the number 1. Owen Cole, 7 seconds behind the number 1. Not the best statistics for him, though. And, of course, Paul Fietske, who's looking incredibly strong today with that +3. So I'm hoping on Paul Fietske today in that final sprint, making sure that it's Owen Cole's turn now with 6 kilometers to go to lead our riders out towards this finish line. His stats are terrible today, so he will need to take the brunt of the lead out journey here in this race. Less than 5 kilometers remaining, still 3 riders left after Hong does his pull, so a pretty good race here for us so far. That means that we could do a little bit over a kilometer here with each rider, which should be totally fine here for us in today's race. Still 2 kilometers remaining here towards the end. 2 riders remaining. We are losing the front of this peloton, however, so not looking too good here for us. And we sprint a bit late here with Paul Fietske, who loses the wheel of Severy Savkovsky, who turned on his jet boosters once again and gets across the finish line as first. An incredible sprint here by our Finnish rider. Really, really strong here by him. Paul Fietske also in a 10th place. Should have been on the wheel of Severy Savkovsky, but was unable to keep up with him. Severy, our Finnish rider, just too strong here in this race from any of the other sprinters, showing his sprinting class once again here. It is a race in Estonia. Estonia is relatively close by to Finland, so this should be his terrain. He should know how to do races in these countries and in these very flat stages, and once again proving that he knows how to do that here in this race. A first place here for Severi Savkovsky. The rest of our riders again getting across the line a little bit later, a little bit less of a position there for him, and Severi Savkovsky moving up 17th positions all the way to first now. Great job here by our rider, 2 seconds ahead of the number 2 and 3 here. Paul Fitske still in 7th position. The rest of our riders moving either down a couple or moving up a couple. We are looking pretty good here in this race. Wow, Kim Hyun-suk even moving up 10 positions. I think that is the benefit of finishing in the peloton, while there are other riders behind the peloton struggling here with the pace of our team. Great job here today by our riders. See the bonus seconds also moving up a couple of other riders. Owen Cole now in 16th position, so moving down a couple of places, but still 2 riders in that top 10 position, with Severi Savkovsky in first, in a very strong position here, with only 1 stage to go, 1 very flat stage to go, so we should be able to dominate this final race as well, get those bonus seconds, and hopefully get a first place here in the general classification. There are some cobbles here, so you see Paul Fitske is one of the favorites for this race. Let's see what will happen.
The race has cobbled sections that are renowned for testing both bikes and their riders. You've got to know what you're doing.
And this should be our terrain. We do know what we are doing in these types of races. We have so much experience in these races. Severi looking incredibly strong today here with a +1. Very, very good here for our rider. You see a little bit of a breakaway forming. So I'm sending out Severi Savkovsky, who was in front of the peloton, to cover the breakaway here. Obviously, no riders will want to work with him because he is number 1 in the general classification. While I also tried to send out Owen Cole, who riders might want to work with, as he is not doing very well in the general classification. Still a 15th or 16th place in the general classification, but I'm hoping that he can get some additional bonus seconds today here. We're relatively early on in this stage, and some bonus seconds would benefit his general classification by quite a lot here in this race. In the meantime, we'll obviously defend Paul Fitske and wait for Severi Savkovsky to get back into that peloton, where we'll defend him towards the end and obviously try to do as good of a sprint as possible, while there is still a breakaway of 2 riders away. And you see here now in that first intermediate sprint point, we are in the breakaway with Owen Cole. We are 9 minutes ahead, actually 10 minutes ahead of the peloton, so we are in a pretty good position here with Owen Cole. Looking very, very strong here in this race, actually. The breakaway looking like they will make it. Only 130 kilometers left to go in this race, and a 10-minute lead is a pretty good lead here for our riders. Now on to the second intermediate sprint point, 62 kilometers left, or 82 kilometers left. What does it say? 82 kilometers left, my apologies, with still 10 minutes remaining here on the peloton, so that means that we are in a pretty good position here with Owen Cole. I don't think, however, that I want this breakaway to get too far ahead of us. I don't mind Owen Cole being in this breakaway and maybe getting a victory here for himself, but I feel like we have a much better chance in the mass sprint once we get there. And with 3 kilometers or less than 2 kilometers remaining, actually, you see me trying to do an effort here with Owen Cole to try to get towards these riders. The breakaway is definitely going to make it all the way towards the front. Still 4 minutes behind is the peloton, so not much of a chance here for them to catch up. Owen Cole now in that little hill section, or in that little cobble section, sprinting towards the 4th place, and we need to set up our riders here for a final sprint as well as possible. You see our little sprint train is trying to get towards the front. The how do you call it, finish is a little bit further ahead here. I do misjudge this finish, as it should it is basically a left turn here that is coming up very, very soon, and I should have sprinted here already with our riders. 1 kilometer mark for the finish line, but I did not notice that it was right there, and that means that our riders will finish a little bit behind here in this group. Owen Cole in 4th place, however, in this stage, which looks pretty good here for the rider. I'm curious what that will do for the general classification. The rest of our riders not even finishing in a top 20 position, and Owen Cole wins the general classification thanks to his earlier positioning, those bonus seconds that he got here in this race. And obviously, a 4th place in this stage with plenty of minutes on the peloton will help his move all the way up to 1st in that general classification. That means that he also wins the Young Rider classification, of course, and you see there in a 7th place, or now in 6th place, you see Severi Savikovsky, Paul Fitzke also in 10th place in the Young Riders classification, but the 7th place in the general classification for Severi Savikovsky as well. So we basically end up with the same statistics as we have had before. A 4th place in the stage here by Owen Cole, as you can see. The rest of our team obviously finishing later on here in this stage. But that 4th place does move him up all the way to 1st here, 15 positions up in the general classification. Severi Savikovsky here in 7th as well, so the overall position in the general classification doesn't change very much. Paul Fitzke in 14th, I guess, within that top 15. We now have 3 riders, so that's pretty good of a change. But for the UCI points, I don't think it will matter too much here for the team. The rest of our riders moving down a couple of positions because of that switch of place within the riders up front. That means we also get the Young Riders jersey here with Owen Cole. Great job by us. And we do also move down in the team classification. So we'll be happy here with the 1st place in the general classification by Owen Cole. A 7th place by Severi Savikovsky here in this very weird flat tour in the Tour of Estonia. Now let's move on here to the Tour of Slovenia. 5 stages of fun here for us. A lot of hills, a lot of mountains. And we'll be curious to see how we'll perform.
Hello to one and all. It's an undulating route, so it will be a tactical race. This morning, a few riders told me that they weren't too motivated at the thought of riding in such conditions.
The weather in today's race is awful, however, so that's not great for the team. The statistics do not reflect the awful weather. As you can see here, Paul Fitzke with a +1 in statistics. I'm trying to send him out here because there are bonus seconds at the beginning of this stage, so the more bonus seconds he can get, the better. He is also adept in the mountains, so it should be a good stage here for him to perform in a breakaway. In the meantime, we'll protect Noah Isidora, our French signee, who has been performing incredibly well here in the peloton. He has been doing super well in the past couple of episodes and this year in general, I would say. He is on top of the leaderboards in both the points and victories. So great job here by our French rider. Our 2nd place here is Paul Fitzke, and he is moving in that breakaway, trying to get some additional bonus seconds, maybe do even better, while Joseph Turnbull falls off his bike here, so he'll have a bit of a difficulty to try and catch back up towards this peloton, who is racing after us in this little breakaway, or after this little breakaway, as we do get towards that first intermediate sprint, where I sprint with Paul Fitzke towards a 1st place. Those 3 bonus seconds are guaranteed for us here, at least, so that is a good start here of this little race in the Tour of Slovenia. Great job here by our German rider. And you see here the breakaway has been caught up relatively quickly. We move on towards the last 14 kilometers here of this stage, where our team is pushing very, very hard. 3 of her riders already fallen off of the train here. Had some issues in the little run up towards this downhill / flat section. It is a little bit flat, but you see that gradient is around a -1% here downwards. So I'm hoping for us to be up front in this peloton, but you see I pushed much too hard. This little push by our team won't make too much of a difference here, and is just kind of a waste of energy. So I try to sit back up a little bit here with our riders, try to not push too hard, but I also don't want to lose position here. So I put Noah Isidora once again up front here in this peloton, trying to break apart even more riders if we can. There are only 80 riders remaining here in this peloton, and you see me now positioning here behind the Swiss rider here from Tudor, making sure that we don't lose too much energy with our last 2 riders, while Owen Cole is actually gaining a lot of his energy back, so that should prove well here for our lead out train, hoping for him to maybe be of use here for Noah Isidora, although the yellow bar here of our American rider not looking too great. 3 kilometers left to go. Paul Fitzke losing the wheel of Noah Isidora, which is not great, and we are trying to fight our way back up towards the front of this peloton. We fell a little bit behind here, and you see a big sprint already here by Noah Isidora. Less than a kilometer to go, so I sprint with all that we have here. Noah Isidora once again looking very strong, but losing energy here towards the end. Paul Fitzke, however, already had some bonus seconds at the start, and now also finishing off of this first stage with a victory. Our German rider proving his stature and skills once again in the team and in this race as well. A great job here by our German rider. I must say, a fantastic job here. A 7th place by Noah Isidore as well. So not bad here by the team. I was hoping to do a little bit better here with our French rider. His sprint looked majestic. It looked very, very strong here, but just lost a little bit too much energy towards the end of this stage. And Paul Fietske managed to finish it off here with a victory in the first stage of the Tour of Slovenia. So a very good job here by our German rider. That should move him up also into first place of the general classification here in this tour. You see me also checking out the other riders here who have also done a fantastic job. The rest of our team moving or finishing a little bit later on here in this stage. You see Asian Verity around 3 minutes behind Paul Fietske. Some other riders of ours also behind. Oh, our Italian rider almost 10 minutes behind the number 1, so not a good stage here for him. While I would have expected him to do a little bit better, he does have that mountain prowess, but once again he is not performing very well, where Paul Fietske indeed is in first place in the general classification. Noah Isidore in 8th because there were no bonus seconds for him in any of the line. So 8th place currently for him, but only 10 seconds, or what is it, 13 seconds off Paul Fietske here. So pretty good result here for Paul Fietske. And Noah Isidore only 13 seconds off, so there's still plenty of chances here with 4 stages left to go for mountainous stages as well. So plenty of opportunities here to do well in this race. And you see me also checking out where did we get those seconds, how did that work, where is it just the bonus seconds on the line here, where did we get the points? Paul Fietske at 30 points currently in the points classification as well, so first place there for him, for our German rider, because of that finish getting 25 points, and because of that first place in the in-between sprint getting an additional 5 points as well. So first place in points classification, first place in the young riders classification, and in the general classification. Now all we need to do is defend that here in this very hilly second stage that's somehow classified as flat.
It's going to be a monotonous day when it comes to the terrain. But at least the teams with sprinters won't be complaining. And, of course, those opportunists with a bit of daring won't make their life easy.
And will we be those opportunists with a bit of daring? I'm trying to be, at least, because again, there are some bonus seconds here at the beginning of the stage. We have some riders who aren't very high up here in the general classification, so there is a chance for them to get some bonus seconds and maybe get a little bit of a breakaway win like Owen Cole did. You never know here in these races. So I'm sending out Asian Verity here, our Irish rider, to try and be part of the breakaway here in this race. And then he is chasing together with another rider after the little lead group here ahead of him. Obviously, we will defend Paul Fietske, the number 1 in general classification in the peloton, and Noah Isidore, who is once again looking very, very strong statistics-wise. A couple of our other riders not looking super great here in this race. So we will just see where we will end up. Maybe we can get some bonus seconds, and we are first here, or we are in this first intermediate sprint where we obviously get first as well. Very easy lead out, or very easy sprint by Verity here in this first intermediate sprint. 3 additional bonus seconds here for him. He is 3 minutes behind, so maybe it will move him up a couple of positions here thanks to these bonus seconds. Let's see how we will do here in this second intermediate sprint, where he also gets another first place in the sprint. So 6 bonus seconds for him at this moment. Hopefully that will reflect very positively here in the general classification, and we'll move him up a couple of positions. On to the third intermediate sprint. I get a little bit surprised here in this third intermediate sprint, so Verity has to jump all the way from the back here of this little group and still gets across the line as first. So 9 bonus seconds by our Irish rider, looking incredibly strong here in this race. His sprint statistics are on absolute fire here, looking super strong here, while we lead out our riders now with a bit over 7k to go. Again, Asian Verity looking super strong, so he will basically be one of our last lead out men in this sprint train, trying to use up our assist riders and our mountain riders be first, or at least the riders with the negative statistics. Again, you see Joseph Turnbull and Owen Cole here with -2, -3 statistics, so really poor for them here today in this race, but that does mean that they can move on here and move our team all the way towards this peloton, support our riders, make sure we do a good sprint. And with 2 kilometers to go, I do have a lot of energy left, so I tried to spin a little bit early here with Asian Federaty and with the remainder of our riders at around the 1 kilometer mark. Will we get another stage win? It's looking great here for Asian Federaty, who was already proven very, very strong in this race, and he does get a victory here in the second stage of the Tour of Slovenia. An incredible result here for our Irish rider, who looked incredibly strong here, as second place for Paul Fietske as well. A really, really good team result here for us here in this stage, in this second Tour of Slovenia. Asian Federaty, our rider who once again lost a lot of statistics at the beginning of last year, didn't look very good here for him in the team classification, or in our classification of the riders. Is basically at the max of his potential, so I was afraid that he would be stopped performing or wouldn't do very well. But even in these 2.1 races and 1.1 races, Asian Federaty is showing that on a good day he can compete with the best riders in the world. Our Irish rider looking incredibly strong here in the second stage of the Tour of Slovenia. A lot of riders also a bit behind here, or 2 riders a bit behind, one even withdrawing because he's probably not feeling super well. So sad for those riders, but Paul Fietske here increasing his lead on the other riders as well, getting some additional bonus seconds here when he got across the line in this race. So great job here by him. Owen Cole also moving up a lot of positions. I'm not entirely sure because I don't think he really got any bonus seconds. So great job here by Owen Cole, moving up a ton of positions. Asian Federaty moving up 0 positions, even with that bunch of bonus seconds. That is a bit of a surprise. Noah Isidore falling down 1 place as well, currently in 9th in the general classification. You see me checking out here the points and bonus seconds once again of this stage. Somehow Owen Cole also got a bunch of mountain points. I'm not entirely sure where, as we did have the breakaway away in this race where Asian Federaty was part of it. So I'm not entirely sure where we got those mountain points, but I guess we'll take them. It is what it is. Young Riders classification, obviously Paul Fietske is in first as well, so we are looking very strong here in this race at this moment with our riders. Owen Cole moving up so many positions, even in the Young Riders classification, moving up 22 positions, and somehow our team moves down. I think we did an incredible job here with the team today, honestly. A fantastic result. Would have liked to see Asian Federaty move up a bit more, but sadly no positions gained here for him. On to that third stage with an uphill finish. It should be perfect for the punchers. Maybe this is the stage where Noah Isidore will prove how good of a rider he is. Let's see how he will do.
It's an undulating route, so it will be a tactical race. To top it all, the weather conditions are atrocious.
Again, very, very poor weather conditions today, but Noah Isidore and Asian Federaty are absolutely thriving in these conditions. You see how strong they are. Very, very good for them today in this race. Sending out Asian Federaty once again. Again, a very successful previous stage, so I'm hoping for him to gain additional bonus seconds once again. Move up a couple of positions in the general classification. That is my hope for him. He's looking super, super strong at the moment. But again, the finish of this stage will be an uphill battle. That means I don't want to exert too much energy with the riders that are punchers or are good in those mountains and those hills. That means that we will defend Noah Isidore and Paul Fietske here in this race in preparation for that final section of this stage. 2 little mountains in between as well, so we hope to survive those as well. And in the meantime, Asian Federaty still pushing on. You see a bit of a larger group slowly but surely joining the breakaway here in this race. So I'm hoping for them to do well here and hoping for them to succeed towards those first intermediate sprints. Now on to that first intermediate sprint. You see I get a little bit caught out here with Asian Federaty. 2 other riders already sprinting up ahead, so I sprint a little bit late here. Does he get across the finish line as second? Yes, he does. Asian Federaty getting across the line here second. 2 additional bonus seconds, my apologies, for Asian Federaty, so a great job here by him. They also get towards that second intermediate sprint here where Asian Federaty was leading down the mountain here very easily towards that 1 kilometer mark and getting an additional 3 bonus seconds here across the line of that second intermediate sprint. So a very good result here for Asian Federaty. Behind in the peloton, you see it breaking up slowly but surely. Noah Isidore is part of that second group, which is not great for us as we are betting on him here at the final of this stage. But I'm sure that peloton will get back together here in one group while we get towards that third intermediate sprint, where once again Asian Federaty shows how strong he is here in the sprint. Very, very good job by our Irish rider, getting an additional 3 seconds, 8 additional bonus seconds here for him. Now time to relax and make sure that he moves back towards the peloton, as there is only 2 minutes remaining on the peloton itself. And plenty of kilometers remaining towards that finish line, so no chance here for him to get a good result in that breakaway. On to the last 9 kilometers of this stage. You see the peloton is broken apart fully. A lot of our riders are in the back here of this race. 2 riders of ours are in that front peloton, while I'm racing down this hill with Noah Isidore trying to break apart the peloton even more here in this incredibly difficult stage. I don't want to exhaust my riders too much. I know there's still that uphill section coming very quickly, but I want to keep our energy for that moment. I don't want to exhaust our team too much. We already raced down that hill, so I just want to conserve the energy, try to gain back as much as possible, and wait for this uphill section to begin so we can push here in this race. The riders behind are trying to catch up towards this peloton and trying to get as good of a position as possible, but it will be very difficult for them. The hills have been too difficult for most of our riders here in this stage. While we start to push on here with our riders only less than a kilometer remaining, so not too long of a hill here. While I do a very early sprint here with Noah Isidore, it loses all his energy, Paul Fietske as well, so I messed up our sprint here. The finish line is right there. Can we at least get a podium position here with the team, or do we get passed by more riders? It's looking not super great here for Paul Fietske. A 5th position at least for him. Yes, a 5th position here for our German rider, while we get passed at the finish line by 4 other riders. Noah Isidore, the rider that I was kind of hoping on in this race, in a 13th position, so no great result here for him. We started the sprint too early, should have saved our energy a little bit longer here in this uphill section, in this very short, very steep mountainous section, and that means we only get a 5th place here in the 3rd stage of the Tour of Slovenia, so not a super good result here for the team. Asian Federaty losing a bunch of positions for sure. He went behind, or lost a lot of minutes here on the peloton. That means that his bonus seconds probably were not worth the loss of time here in the final part of this stage. Noah Isidore thankfully moving up a couple of positions thanks to his positioning, so that's good for the team here. Asian Federaty actually moving up 2 positions. Look at him. Thanks to other riders probably doing much worse than him. You see other riders of ours also moving up a couple of positions, so not too bad actually for the team. A very difficult race for our team. A lot of our riders behind us actually. You see here our Italian rider almost 20 minutes now behind the number 1, but plenty of other riders now almost half an hour or more behind the number 1, so great job, honestly, here today by the team. Paul Fietske still in 1st, and that's what really matters. We still have 2 stages left to go, of course, so anything can happen here in this very difficult race. But the 1st place was had here for Paul Fietske, and we maintain that at this moment in the general classification. Let's see if we can do the same here in this 4th stage, this very mountainous stage, where that hill at the end will be the defining matter here, which will be fit, hopefully, for Paul Fietske, who is a bit of a mountain rider, and maybe he can be helped here by Owen Cole or Noah Isidore in that final section of this race. That is what we're betting on. We want to get a good result here with the team. Let's see how we'll do.
Today it will be the climbers who have any chance of victory.
Like the commentators said, the climbers will be the important riders here in today's stage. Thankfully, Paul Fietske with neutral statistics at least, so no negative statistics from here, but his mountain statistics actually looking pretty good today. So great here for our riders. Noah Isidore again looking incredibly strong in this race. His form has not been rewarded in this race, but that's okay. He has been overperforming in many of the other races, so I'm fine with him not being the top rider that he is at this moment. Hopefully Noah Isidore or Owen Cole or other riders can help Paul Fietske get up that hill and place a good result at the end of this stage. Again, that end hill will be the difficult part, so no real reason for us to be in this breakaway. We will sit in the peloton, defend our riders, and you join us now with 10 kilometers remaining. And we are pushing indeed here in this race. There are 4 riders up ahead here with over a minute still left on the peloton. I don't think they'll make it here towards the end. They've already fought a very long race here in today's stage, and they, are trying to push on and try to make it here towards the finish line, but so are many of the other teams as well. We are trying to push on here and make sure that we get into a good position here. 7 kilometers remaining for the front group. We are really starting to push here in the peloton. You see, we try to save our riders for as long as possible for this final hill section that is coming up right now, where we are pushing on a lot of red and black sections here in this race. And the moment we start this hill, you see the peloton fracture. Only 40 riders remaining in this hill. Still over a minute remaining on the front group here. So it seems that with this tempo it won't be enough, and they will make it here towards the finish line ahead of the peloton, which again I keep pushing on very hard here, and that push by Joseph Turnbull seems to be enough. 2 riders cannot follow the pace here up front, and we are got here by the peloton as we keep moving on here with less than 4 kilometers to go. We're trying to ride our own tempo, trying to break apart the peloton even more. Paul Fietske is suffering here. Noah Isidore looking incredibly strong in today's race. 30 riders remaining in the peloton. It is slowly but surely breaking off more and more. The one rider that is still ahead in the breakaway is just trying to survive until that final moment here, with still 2 kilometers remaining. Paul Fietske sadly does not seem to be able to maintain the pace here in this group. Too difficult here for him in today's stage. He tried to stick onto the wheel for as long as possible, but will now just try and survive towards the finish line, hopefully still get a good result. But it is a very difficult final kilometer here of this stage, trying to give it all here with Noah Isidore waiting until the last moment here. 500 meters remaining. I don't want to sprint too early here. 400 meters remaining, and I tried to sprint to try and get a lead on these 2 Ineos riders, but sadly they are too strong for us today. Does Isidore actually get a 3rd place? No, a 4th place here for our French rider. So sadly, even on the line, gets passed here by another rider. Trying to get Paul Fietske across this line as well. You see his red bar slightly increased once again, but I want to make him push all the way towards that finish line. Any second matters here. Any time that we can get here on any of these other riders will be important. We want to maintain that lead in the general classification, and we'll have to see if we did that here with a 19th position here by Paul Fietske. The remainder of our riders suffering up this mountain, and we'll get across the line a bit later. As you can see here, 4th place in this stage by Noah Isidore, Paul Fietske in 19th, Owen Cole in 38th. The rest of our riders obviously getting a 40th position or much lower in this race. That final hill too difficult for many other riders. You see other riders also even finishing 30 minutes behind the number 1. And what does that do to the general classification? It moves Paul Fietske all the way down to 15th. A rough result here for Paul Fietske with only 1 stage left to go here in this tour. So it's very tricky here for our riders. Noah Isidore moves up to 5th at least, so maybe there's a chance for him to move up further in this race, but it will be incredibly tricky here for him to get a podium result here with some of these top riders here in the top 4 of this race. Paul Fietske in 15th. His general classification seems lost. Maybe he can get a top 10, but it will be very tricky here in this final stage of the Tour of Slovenia, which features cobbles and hills and much more. So it should fit Paul Fietske, but that means that he needs to get a victory here and nothing else.
Hello to one and all. The race has cobbled sections that are renowned for testing both bikes and their riders. You've got to know what you're doing.
Welcome to the final stage here of the Tour of Slovenia. As you can see here, we want to try and get some bonus seconds, but they are all the way at the halfway mark of this race. And again, I want to save our riders for this last little area of this race. Maybe with Noah Isidore we can get some bonus seconds in the breakaway. He is only 15 seconds off the lead. getting some bonus seconds here would give us 9 bonus seconds, I guess, in total, which should move us up into, I hope, a 3rd place. And if we can sprint towards a victory, that should get us basically the bonus seconds that we require here. So in the end, maybe we can get 2 first places and then sprint to a victory. That's a lot to hope for here, but he does get away in the breakaway, which I find honestly a bit surprising here. With only 15 seconds off the lead, you would expect a lot of these top riders to not allow him to go into the breakaway, and he does sprint towards a first place here in the first intermediate sprint. 3 additional bonus seconds at least for Noah Isidore, so a good first little sprint here for our French rider, making sure that he has a better chance in this initial breakaway. The breakaway gets caught here by the peloton, and Noah Isidore is still up front, thankfully, so that means that he can do a final sprint here towards that finish line, gain 3 additional bonus seconds, 6 seconds of additional time here now for our French rider, which means that he should move up at least 1 position here in the general classification. Oh, a big fall here for Owen Cole. That's not great at this part of the stage. The peloton is riding rather fast at this moment, and a fall here for our American rider, which could be a very important rider here for the final part of this stage, is not great here for the team. I was just getting some water, I think, with him as well, so that's very, very poor here for us. Well, there's a lot of riders here of the Jayco Lulu team that will fight to bring him back all the way in the peloton, and he doesn't manage to get back, albeit a little bit hurt here in this stage, where we once again sprint towards the line in this 3rd intermediate sprint point. So pretty good here for us. 9 additional bonus seconds for Noah Isidore, 2 additional bonus seconds for Paul Fietske as well. I don't think that will do a lot for his general classification, but we can always try and see how far we will get in that general classification. 8 kilometers remaining, or 7 kilometers remaining. My apologies. 1 rider here up ahead in the trying to make a Herculean effort, honestly, to try and get away here from the peloton. The peloton actually broken apart quite a lot. Only 18 riders remaining, so it's looking very, very good here for our riders. Once again, we've gotten 9 bonus seconds with Noah Isidore. If we can get a victory here with him, it should move him up all the way to 1st. So that is what I'm betting on. He will be our last rider. We are riding for our French rider, and we are looking incredibly strong here. Only 19 riders in this peloton, less than 2 kilometers remaining. We are up ahead here in this peloton, once again launching our riders. Paul Fietske now with 1 kilometer to go and sprinting a little bit late here on the riders. The cobbled section here for us, now trying to make sure that we get a good result here. Paul Fietske with those cobble statistics very easily gets across the line as 1st. Noah Isidore as 2nd. Is that enough to move him up all the way into 1st? I think that's 6 additional bonus seconds. So that should be 15 bonus seconds here for Noah Isidore. That should tie him with 1st place, I think. And I'm curious to see what that will do for the general classification. Paul Fietske at least getting another victory here in the Tour of Slovenia. A fantastic job here by our German rider. That one stage determining his final result, sadly. He was looking so strong for 4 of these stages, but that one stage making sure that he moves down all the way towards a top 15 position. Noah Isidore does win the general classification. A great result here by him. Equal time here with the Colombian rider, but the positioning here for Noah Isidore was better in the 5 stages overall, and that moves him into 1st in the general classification. A great job here by him. The points jersey also going towards Paul Fietske, so a great job here for our German rider. I think winning 2, maybe 3 stages. I don't remember if there was a 3rd stage. No, a 3rd stage victory, I think, by Asian Ferretti. So 3 of our riders in the top 3 of that points classification. Noah Isidore also winning the young riders classification, of course, winning the general classification, and then obviously winning the young riders classification. A great job here by our French rider, really showing again how strong he is. He was in a top 15 position before that 4th race, so not really looking too strong here in the general classification, but the combination, I think, of his mountain prowess and the risk that he took to get those bonus seconds in those intermediate sprints finally paid off here once again for our French rider, moving him up 4 positions all the way into 1st. A great result here by him. A 15th place, sadly, for Paul Fietske, who was looking incredibly strong here for most of this race, but yes, a 15th place is the best that he could do today. Some of our other riders also moving up a couple of positions, so that's always good here for the team. Probably gotten a couple of bonus seconds here and there, and maybe some other riders that fell behind or had a lot of issues towards that final section of this race. So good here for the team as well to have some riders move up here in the general classification. Once again, a victory here for Noah Isidore, the points jersey for Paul Fietske, the young riders jersey for Noah Isidore as well, and I think a 5th place in the team classification in the end. Now let's move on to the Tour de Gyeongnam. Obviously a 2.2 race, but it is our home race, so I wanted to do it. Let's see how we'll perform here in this first stage of this, what should be a very easy stage. And I talked over the commentator there, so my apologies. But again, a rainy day here. Matthijs van Strijten was the favorite of this race. His sprint statistics much better than many of the other riders here in today's stage. I'm sending out Kim Hyun-sok, trying to get some bonus seconds here with our Korean rider, trying to get as good of a classification here with our Korean riders. Once again, we want to get a good result here with our Korean riders. That is why we are here. We want to perform here in these stages. We want to perform here in this tour. We want to show that KoRail is a World Tour team, or at least one of the top teams here in the world, and that means that we want to show how strong we are as a team. Once again, Hong Ji-won here leading us out towards that first intermediate sprint where we get all the points and all the bonus seconds. So a great job here by him, the winner of the Tour of Taiwan. A great result here by him. Once again, really having an uptick in results, honestly, in this season. So great job here by him, looking very, very strong in today's race. While we move on here now towards the last intermediate sprint, where once again we are up front trying to sprint out with our team. There are only 14 kilometers remaining, so we have our sprint train going already, making sure that we once again get all the seconds here in this in-between sprint. Really good job here by the team, honestly, at this moment. While we keep pushing on here towards the finish line, 8 kilometers left to go. Bit of a mountainous section in between, so we're trying to push as hard as we can, trying to break apart the peloton. We are used to these stages. We are used to making it hard on these other teams, as that is our normal rule also in the higher rated races at this moment. And you see the peloton slowly but surely fracturing here, still getting together when they get at the top of this little hill. Kim Hyun-sok did his initial pull, 5 kilometers remaining. We are looking incredibly strong here at the beginning of the next hill, where we are pushing on here with our riders, as you can see, using up the mountain riders first a little bit here with these small tiny hills that are coming up. 3 kilometers remaining, so we're almost at that finish line, trying to keep pushing on here, trying to make it difficult for these other riders in this hilly section, trying to stay up front now so we can deliver a good sprint here in this stage of Tour de Gyeongnam. Doing a big sprint here with all of our riders with 1 kilometer remaining. Van Strijten, the favorite of this race, indeed proving his skill once again, getting across the line as first. Hong Ji-won also getting across the line as second, and Kim Sung-bom, our mountain support rider, actually getting across the line here as third. So a very good job here by the team. A top 3 here to start this race off for KoRail. So nothing else that I could want here in this race. We just need to survive the next couple of stages, but we have a good lead here at the beginning of the Tour de Gyeongnam. As you can see here, Matthijs van Strijten taking the trophy, or taking the trophy for the first stage victory here in this tour. Great result here by a Belgian rider. Once again, he was the favorite, so I'm happy for him to make his favorite rule come true. And it means a top 3 here for the remainder of our team. The rest of our team finishing a little bit below here. You see Heo Sang-soo in 63rd. Baptiste Grégoire also finishing in 8th. So great job here by our French rider, who has been getting some pretty decent results here lately. And you see me checking out the other riders as well, hoping once again to expand our Asian lineup here in our Korean team, hoping especially to scout maybe some worthwhile Korean riders here in these races while I try to go through them. The general classification, we have a top 4 purely KoRail, so a great result here by the team at this moment. Really, really strong here. Top 3 also in the points, top 2 in the mountains, top 4 in the young riders classification, and obviously we are number 1 in the team classification as well. So the perfect start here to our first stage of the Tour de Gyeongnam, or to our Tour de Gyeongnam race here. Let's see if we can continue that here in this second stage. A bunch more hills, but once again, a flat ending as it seems. So perfect for the sprinters once again.
Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome. It's an undulating route, so it will be a tactical race. Riding under such heat must be unbearable.
Much hillier, honestly, than I had initially expected, but it is a relatively short stage here with less than 90 kilometers, setting up Baptiste Grégoire here into the breakaway, trying to get some additional mountain points and maybe some additional bonus seconds as well to challenge the other riders in the general classification. Once again, this tour has a lot of very short stages, so it should be looking pretty good here for our riders who are by now used to much longer stages, much longer intensities required from our riders in those stages as well. So I think these short stages will be very beneficial here for our riders. As you see me lining up some of our riders that I want to protect in the peloton, make sure that they are ready for that final section of this race. Now on towards that first intermediate sprint, you see most of the peloton or most of the breakaway has actually been caught up here, and I'm trying to send out some of our riders to get some additional bonus seconds here once again in this first intermediate sprint point. Heo sadly has been left behind after that first little mountain area. He had a bit of issues and finally catches up here towards the peloton. While we try to stay here in the peloton towards the second intermediate sprint, Heo once again lost too much energy to try and even catch back up towards the peloton, so he fell off once again. While we get across the line here with Kim Sung-bom, our mountain support rider, as first. So great result here for our Korean team, really cementing our lead here in the general classification. Less than 8 kilometers to go now, and you see us pushing down this hill, making sure we are getting ready for another sprint here.
There's a growing number of riders left behind.
And indeed, a lot of riders left behind. We are only 4 riders remaining. You see here the group, the 4 of us have a gap on the peloton, looking very strong here in this race. It is 5 kilometers towards the finish line, as the commentator just said. And the peloton, sadly but surely, closes the gap here towards our team. So no chance for us here to do a spectacular breakaway and finish in this race here with a top 4 in the KoRail fashion once again, proving our strength, trying to make sure that I use my mountain rider here now as a lead out. Again, I want to get a good result here with our Korean rider, so I sprint from the 1 kilometer mark here with Kim Yeon-suk, and then Kim Sung-bom, who was in a great position here after the first stage, trying to secure a victory with him, but no, his sprinting prowess is not good enough. Who gets across the finish line as second? It is not Kim Yeon-suk, as he gets across the line here as a third. Kim Sung-bom getting across the line as 5th as well, so no bonus seconds there for our Korean rider. Kim Yeon-suk should move up a couple of places though with those additional bonus seconds, while Hong Ji-won, who was looking very strong in that previous stage, loses 2 minutes on the peloton. A poor result here for Heo and Hong in this second race of the Tour de Gyeongnam. Kim Sung-bom now moving up 2 positions here to first because of that relatively poor result from Matthijs van Strijtem and Baptiste Grégoire. Kim Yeon-suk moving all the way up to 9th, however, so good job by him. And you see here Hong Ji-won and Heo Sung-soo a little bit lower, moving down a lot of positions here, sadly losing in the positioning on that peloton. But Kim Sung-bom doing our Korean team proud here in this race, making sure that he shows off very well. And you're probably wondering, where is Jae-won-jun, our number 1 Korean rider in the team? He sadly was out with an injury, so no good result here for him, or no participation here for him. And that means that I'm trying to get any good result here with either Kim Sung-bom or Kim Hyun-suk or Hong Ji-won, or whoever is able to get a good result here in this race. On to the third stage now, a race that is less than 60 kilometers but with an uphill finish, so that should fit our mountain riders rather well.
Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome. It's an undulating route, so it will be a tactical race. Riding in such heat is not easy. Many riders must have only one thing on their mind: getting this over with.
And with a stage of less than 60 kilometers, I think this stage will be over with rather quickly. What we've seen in the previous stages as well is that the peloton does not let a breakaway get away here in these stages. They want to stick together here, they want to push on and make sure to cover off any attacks here for those intermediate sprint points and bonus seconds that are at those lines. But you see here a little bit of a group sprinting away, and the peloton not really fighting to get towards those riders, so I'm sending out Kim Yoon-suk to try and cover off that attack, maybe get some additional bonus seconds for himself as well. In the meantime, we'll defend Kim Sung-bom, obviously, because he is our rider in the yellow jersey, and see if we can get any of our riders towards that finish line as well in as good of a position as possible. Big sprint here by Kim Yoon-suk towards that first intermediate point, and he does get across the line here as first, so a great result here from our Korean rider. 3 additional bonus seconds for him, and the peloton is only 1 minute behind, so I don't think they'll make it here towards the finish line. Less than 9 kilometers to go here in this race. You see here now that we are fighting, or less than 6 even at the moment, my apologies. We are fighting now towards that finish line. It will be a bit of a hilly terrain towards the finish line, and then an uphill finish where we will fight for that finish line, fight on that hill as much as we can. Our 2 mountain riders will be the last riders in our little sprint train as we try and push on here and try to get them as good a result as possible. Once again, we want to get a good result here with Kim Sung-bom, our Korean rider. He does deserve a couple of good results, as he has been supporting our team for so long, but never really has gotten those opportunities in this race, so maybe he can get some today. Jae Won-jun, who would normally be the rider for this race, is out ill, so this is his opportunity to shine here. With less than a kilometer to go, where I sprint a little bit late here with Matthijs van Strijdom and Baptiste Crétoir. Kim Sung-bom also trying to jump from the wheel, but actually the use of energy here in this race was perfect. That last little sprint was amazing, and Baptiste Crétoir gets across the line here as first. The top 3 once again by KoRail. Kim Sung-bom once again a 2nd place for him as well, so great job here by our riders. The rest of our team finishing a little bit behind the peloton, but overall pretty good job here by the team. Baptiste Crétoir, our French rider who has been on form in these mountain stages, did a fantastic job in the sprint here. Normally not really his terrain, but that uphill puncturiness made sure that he did a good job finishing off that sprint. Kim Sung-bom unable to really pass him there towards the end of that sprint, but still a great job here to get into 2nd place here. I'm curious what that will do for the general classification. It will move up only 1 spot for Matthijs van Strijdom and Baptiste Crétoir, currently in 4th and 5th. Kim Sung-bom now currently 7 seconds off the number 2, so pretty good job extending his lead here in this difficult 3rd stage, short but difficult 3rd stage. The rest of our riders also, for some reason, Kim Yoon-suk moving down a couple of positions, while I expected him to actually move up, but apparently lost some time here. I thought they would finish across the line here in the same time, but sadly no good result here for Kim Yoon-suk, who got those bonus seconds, but then was too exhausted at the end to get a good result. Still first in the team classification as well, so we are looking pretty strong here in this race, and that means that we only have 1 stage left to go here. It is the 4th stage of the Tour de Gyeongnam. Less than 40 kilometers, a very flat stage, perfect for the sprinters, where Kim Sung-bom will be our leader in the general classification. We're hoping to defend his 1st place in the general classification. Matthijs van Strijdom is the favorite. Let's see if we can get another victory here with our Belgian rider.
It's going to be a monotonous day when it comes to the terrain, but at least the teams with sprinters won't be complaining, and of course, those opportunists with a bit of daring won't make their life easy.
And I don't think we'll be those opportunists. Again, less than 40 kilometers here in this race, so it will basically be a little bit of a push here in these first 20 kilometers, and then the lead-out train already starts. Obviously, we want to defend Kim Sung-bom's title here, or defend his 1st place here in the general classification in this a bit of a street circuit here in the last stage of the Tour de Gyeongnam. Matthijs van Strijdom the favorite here in this race, so I'm hoping for him to do a good sprint here, get those bonus seconds, make sure that no other rider gets them here towards the finish line. That is what we will aim for here. And you join us now, a little bit over 6 kilometers to go, where we are teeing up for our final sprint here, leading out now with our sprinters, of course, making sure that they are getting ready to launch Kim Sung-bom and Matthijs van Strijdom to try and get as good of a result as possible here in this race. I probably should have divvied up our sprint train a little bit better to make sure that Kim Yoon-suk and Heo were the ones leading out Matthijs van Strijdom. as obviously Kim Song-bom does not have the best sprint statistics, and you see me sprinting rather early here in this race, more than 2 kilometers left to go, already sprinting here with Baptiste Grégoire, trying to launch our riders a little bit early here, making sure that I lose actually Matthijs van Strijdom out of the sight of my eye. Park here on the left, doing a fantastic sprint here, the Korean rider, and that means that Matthijs van Strijdom only gets a 3rd place here in this race. I should have sprinted a little bit better here in this race. The sprint lead out for the team, not super great here, and that made sure that we only get a 3rd and 4th place here in this stage. Not a victory that was the predicted result here for Matthijs van Strijdom. Park also moves up into 1st, the 2nd place rider here. What a move from him. He is currently the Korean champion as well, so doing an incredible job here is this Korean rider, Park Ji-won. What a result here for him, making sure that he beats Kim Song-bom here on the line. A 2nd and 3rd place here for our team, a 5th place as well for Baptiste Grégoire. The rest of our riders obviously finishing lower in the general classification, but a little bit disappointing here for us to lose out on that victory in the general classification. Happy that a Korean rider won, of course, but we wanted that win here in this stage. Park Ji-won, a very strong result from him. Maybe we can sign him in the future for our team as well. That means that we have 6 additional victories here in this episode. Once again, a great result here for the team. A lot of victories, a lot of great results here, honestly. Very, very happy here with the results of the team. Noah Isidoro moving up in the points even more. The gap once again increasing. In 2nd place is Paul Fietske, still trying to fight that battle, trying to get closer to Noah Isidoro, but sadly losing that race. Owen Cole in 3rd, and you see Christophe Krol passing Adrien Vial to move into 4th position here. Let's see how they will do in the next episode. We are currently in 15th positions in the team ranking, moving up one more position with the points that we got in this race, so pretty successful episode. The next team is Alpecin de Koning. Let's see if we can get them. That's it for now. Thank you guys very much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed once again, and hope to see you guys next time. Love you all. See you next time. Bye.